hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or their representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the public hearing, we will conduct the monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and the town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decisions. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of a decision can sign the sheet at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure we will follow for hearing each application is, after the application is read, the applicant, their agent or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the board. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will have a chance to speak. I will then ask for staff comments of the board's field observations and any staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a short rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone at the front of the room, state their name, and direct their comments to the board. Because of the number of applicants tonight, I am asking that all testimony be kept brief and to the point. The applicant will have 5 minutes to present information on their application other than questions from the committee. Anyone else wishing to speak should try to limit their testimony to 3 minutes, and rebuttal by the applicant should also be 3 minutes or less. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded, and the recordings will become part of the permanent record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The committee has looked at all the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of tonight's board has 30 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Waushara County Circuit Court. Information on appeals is available from Clerk of Court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. And now I'll introduce the rest of my board. To the right is Todd Waller, zoning administrator, Amy Schultz, recording secretary, Kevin Fitzgerald, Mike McCoy, John Benz, and Larry Tim. My name is Roger Wagner.
And Roger, excuse me if I may, if there's anybody here for the Plock variance request, I apologize, but that was pulled from the agenda. It was determined that there wasn't a variance was not needed, so we pulled it from the agenda. So if you're here for the Plock variance, it has been pulled, and I apologize for any inconvenience.
Okay, we have first 4 variances tonight. The first one is Tina Marcham, Saxville, Wisconsin. It's made an application for variance in accordance with section 58-826, paragraph B of the Waushara County Zoning Code to construct a 24 by 24 detached garage on a slabbing coming to within 30.5 feet of the center line of 2nd Street, 63 feet required in the RS20 zone, residential single-family zone. Location Lot 1, Certified Survey Map number 6172, Block 4, Long Lake Woods Plat, located in the northeast quarter, northwest quarter of Section 18, Town of Saxville, N 6501 2nd Street. Is the applicant here? Would you come forward, please, to the microphone? Okay, would you state your name and briefly tell us what your project is there and what you would like to do?
Sure. Tina Marchand. I'm requesting to build a 24 by 24 garage on the property. The variance request is because there wasn't a different location within the property boundaries that could meet the code of 63 feet from the center of the road.
Okay. Just a few general questions then for the record. Has there been a recent survey out there?
I believe there was I just bought the home in March, so I believe there was a survey right before that.
You didn't have a survey in March then? Or did you have a survey?
It was recently surveyed. We got a copy of the survey map. I don't know the date of it.
And you know where all the corners are and the stakes?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the survey map with the corners, the stakes, the septic system, all of that.
Okay. Have you talked to the town about this project?
Yeah, yep. He's building it, I'm sorry.
And what was the town's response? Are they in favor of it,
They
against?
were in favor of it. They came out and looked at the garage is staked out. They came out and looked at the lines.
The town
They
board
didn't
did?
have any questions or anything?
Okay. You're going to put this on a slab, you're saying?
Yes.
Concrete slab?
Yep.
And how far above existing grade will the first floor elevation be?
119 feet?
Under 9?
Under 19, right? Yep.
Yeah. I thought he said 119.
That's what I heard too. It's a tall
That's a tall
garage. Finished height is going to be under 19 feet. Any other improvements planned at this time?
No.
And all other setbacks will be met?
Yes,
And the septic system is out in front of the house now?
it is.
And is that fairly new?
It's not, I believe it's 18 years old. Is that right?
Like the records show, like 1980.
Okay.
So it's,
There was a lot of questions to it, but yeah, we found it, I think 1988. Yep, yep. We found the location, we found the whole tank, and then staked that off from the garage stakings too. There was some confusion in it.
There'll be enough room for parking and a turnaround there?
Yep.
And what's the reason for your locating the garage where it is, so close to the road?
It was the only location that we could put it, that it wouldn't impact the location of the well, the septic holding tank, and then the septic drain field that went in front of the house. And then the grade in front of the house is very low. So it really was our only option for a small lot.
What about where the hot tub is?
It wouldn't fit with the lot line from the house over.
Have you considered any other options or any other locations?
I think, exhausted ourselves with what locations we could find that would meet code. We measured things out for days and looked, I think, at every other option that we could find, and we couldn't find another reasonable location where it would fit and meet the code, period. So we could put it adjacent to the house, but it would have been beyond the lot line or to the lot line. It wouldn't have met the requirements of being how far it needed to be. Or it would have been a great location.
If an approval were granted, when do you plan on building this?
As soon as possible.
Any other committee questions?
The hot tub and the deck around it, were they there when you purchased the house?
They weren't there.
You put those in?
I did.
There was some digging around the septic tank, small cedar fence and some flowers.
Uh-huh.
Was that only for the fence and the flowers, or was that to find the tank?
It was to find the tank, and then it was to mark it off so people weren't parking on it.
So you did no work to the tank, you just located it?
Correct.
Any
That was
other
it.
questions? Okay, you can have a chair then.
Thank you.
Any correspondence?
No, we have not received any correspondence.
Anyone to speak in favor?
We do. There is a Richard George to speak in favor.
Richard George, and I have the adjoining property next to Tina. And across the street from her, at a little bit of an angle, there are two trailers that, no question in my mind, they're nowhere near 63 feet. And then you go down just a quarter of a block at the end of 2nd Street, there's a 5-car garage, huge garage, not needed really, because Tina needs hers for parking the car in the wintertime and things, the 5-car, I mean, that garage that's there, that's strictly for toys. There's nothing but boats, trailers, SUVs, and everything in there. So, I mean, obviously, they must have obtained a variance. They can't be 30 feet from the center line. So I just want.
Where is that house located from hers?
Hers, it's about, maybe 100 yards to the north on the east side of Second Street.
Do you have any idea when that garage was constructed? I'm talking within 10 years, 10, 20, 30, 40.
It's within 10 years, definitely. And the people.
Within 10 years?
Yes, for sure.
Talking about the same garage.
The last one on the corner there.
Do you know the name there?
You know, I don't. They have the second property on Long Lake. There's a property next to the boat landing, and then going east, they have the next big house right on the lake. And they just built that for toys.
If you're standing at Tina's house,
Yes,
facing her house, you need to go right to
Ab-
find this garage.
absolutely.
And it's on the other side of the road.
On the other side of Second Street.
Okay, we're talking about the same garage. I can't believe that was 10 years old, but that's all right.
You think it's more than 10 years old?
I have an aerial photo here. It shows a garage up the road there that's probably 65 feet from the road. Yeah.
That's not 65 feet, that corner one. I have a picture of it I can show you.
We were out there,
Corner
we
of
know
Long
it
Lake
looks like
Road in Second, isn't it?
Pardon me?
Yeah,
Corner of Long Lake Road
we
in
would buy it,
Second,
we would buy
correct?
it.
Yes.
They were out there Monday.
Long Lake Road and Second.
Thank you.
It would be yeah. So that's the only reason I bring that point up, I
Okay.
think.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. No one objecting?
Nope.
Staff comments?
All right. As stated in the staff report, Tina Marchand is requesting a variance to construct a 24 by 24 garage on slab to come within 30 and a half feet from center line of Second Street, when a minimum of 63 feet is required. County records are very slim and that are very minimal on this property. We did show that a replacement pouch was installed in 1980. At that time, the tank was installed directly out in front of the house, and then the drain field was out to the right or to the north of the residence, thereby limiting basically construction of a potential garage. The board did visit the property at the recent onsite on Monday, June 16th, and felt that other options did exist that would not predicate the need for a variance. The garage could be reduced in size and relocated further westward where the existing hot tub and small patio reside. They also felt that the hot tub could easily be relocated to another location on the property. The board did note the existence and location of the septic tank, but felt that if needed, either the system could be relocated or altered, or have the system evaluated as possible replacement might be needed given its age. Based upon their observations, the board did not believe that any hardship existed that would substantiate the requested variance. Please keep in mind that a variance is seeking a relaxation of dimensional standard in the code, and it's up to the applicant to provide 3 means of justification. They have to show that the code is unnecessarily burdensome. They also have to show that there are unique limitations on the property, and then if the variance is granted, that no harm will be done to the public interest or to the zoning code. The applicant does cite the fact that the garage is needed to protect vehicles from the harsh elements and protect from potential damage. They also cite that existing conditions, drain field, septic tank, and well locations make it difficult to locate a code-compliant site. As far as protection of public interest, they claim that there are numerous other garages in and around the area that do not meet the 63-foot setback. Staff and the board noted that there was only one structure that was relatively new that was questionable in terms of meeting the current 63-foot setback. Staff has reviewed this request, and while we understand the desire to construct a 2-car garage for protection of private items and from the elements, our concern is that at present only a minimal front yard setback is being proposed from the public right-of-way. The proposed 30.5-foot front yard setback would be quite an encroachment into this visual corridor. While it may not impose any potential safety concerns, it does establish a precedence for future requests. We would recommend redesigning the garage, relocating the hot tub and small deck, and possibly relocation of the septic tank if needed so as to enable a larger area in which to construct the garage so as to meet all required setbacks. We are therefore recommending denial of the variance to construct a 24 by 24 garage on slab to come within 30 and a half feet from the center line of Second Street when a minimum of 63 feet for a town road is required in the RS20 single-family residential zoning district.
The applicant have anything in rebuttal? No? You come forward, please. Are you rebuttaling for the applicant, or are you a neighbor that,
I'm a neighbor, but I'm on her side.
well, it would be up to her to do the rebuttal.
Right, I understand it sets a precedence for other people. I have 2 children who drive. We have 3 cars. We have a small house. It was a very hard winter. It's very frustrating. Nobody comes down our road. And if you take 1 block down and go right, there are many garages that are not 63 feet back. So I don't think I'm going to offend anyone and create a precedence for other people to say, I want to do something inappropriate. I just don't. So I can rethink things, and I can request a single car garage, and I will absolutely consider that. I wanted a place for my family to be able to park, to not have what happened last winter happen. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Next variance to be considered, Mike Helmrich, Fremont, Wisconsin, has made an application for a variance in accordance with section 58-396 of the Washera County Zoning Code to construct a 32 by 60 storage shed on a concrete slab coming to within 35 feet of a mapped wetland area, 50 foot required in the AG General Agricultural Zone within the shoreland area. Location, part of a government lot 3 and part of the northeast 1/4, the southwest 1/4, section 2, town of Poisippi, Lake Boygan, W695 Badger Drive. The applicant present? Come forward, please. State your name.
I am Mike Helmrich.
Okay, Mike, basically want to tell us what you want to do out there?
Well, through the years, as we've had the residents, we've always kind of had the desire to have a place to get all the stuff out of the yard, all the trailers, the ice fishing shack. So it's kind of beautify the property, but kind of be less of an eyesore for people happening by as well. So we're gonna hopefully build this shed to keep all of our odds and ends in and get them out of the way of the lawn mowing and just to make the place look nicer.
Okay. Just a few general questions then for the record. Are you sure of the lot lines, and has there been a recent survey out there?
Yep, we had the survey done this year. We were always kind of curious exactly where the lines were there. There was some question with some of the DNR property that's listed through there. So yes, everything was surveyed this year in March, so we know exactly where that line is.
The stakes out front, we take it were DNR property or DNR line or something?
Yeah, so there's a goofy overlap of the 2 deeds that are right there. So there's some joint ownership between us and the DNR. And then some of that lawn that's being mowed right now is actually DNR-owned property. So I've been working with the DNR on this, with the real estate person, Renee, here in town. And what we're proposing to do, completely separate from this, is we're going to swap some land for some land that we own down by the boat landing. There's some area there that the people like to come and fish from shore. It's land that we don't use for anything. And it'd be kind of foolish to just block it off for liability purposes because people like to go and fish. So we're going to hopefully trade some land down there by the lake for that little piece that's there in right by the driveway.
That was between the road and the stakes there.
Right, yep.
100
Other-
feet or so, or?
Yep.
How
As I
does it-
have it drawn up, I'm gonna stay 7.5 or more feet back from that property line until we get this swap done either way. But it'll just be nice to clean that up.
Is there an agreement between you and the DNR that you're able to drive over their property to get to your property?
That's the portion that's the joint, that it's in both of our title right now, that we're driving across. So I don't know why it was done up that way, but that was Jim Smith from out of Amro that did the title work and the searches. So in working with DNR, they're trying to do some more title work as well. I was also in touch with some people here with the county, and yeah, why something got screwed up there in the legal description at some point. But either way, yeah, we're getting that all resolved with the
Okay.
DNR. And you know, the whole thing with the DNR property, this would probably have been done already, but there was grant funding with the boat landing. Pittman Robertson, it's a fisheries grant program. So that's the federal approvals that are necessary to go through and do that swap make it take longer. So I do these things through work all the time. I work with the Department of Transportation in Green Bay, so working with the DNR and different properties that were impacting theirs and trading lands and stuff. So I kind of knew what I was getting into, and that process takes about a year. But your biggest hurdle is getting the local fisheries managers and staff on board with it, and they thought it was going to be fine. So
To clear it up, the DNR property that you might acquire in a trade, does that go from the property, your property line now, all the way to the road?
to the road setback.
Setback, yeah. So
Yep.
you're, that
Yep.
horizontal strip there is going to be eliminated?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Mike, how close will you be to the wetlands?
Well, it varies a little bit. The wetland line isn't straight. At the closest point, the way I have it proposed is we'd be about 35 feet away from that wetland to the east. In some areas, I'm probably going to be the 50 feet away. I was working with Rick from the planning office, who I've worked with a couple of times. He's a very nice guy to work with, by the way. He was asking about, well, can't you shift it further towards the west and just move your driveway? But when we were doing the dredging projects recently, when I met with the DNR and the Corps of Engineers out there, they said that the wetland line, even though you're mowing that, is up about where the end of that ditch is along the driveway. So the wetlands begin there. So they said when we were doing the dredging and then stockpiling, that they would let me pile material about to the end of that ditch and not go any further, or we'd be filling into the wetland, even though we're mowing it. And doing wetland work for the Department of Transportation, I couldn't argue with them. It was fair, so we just went with that and said, we won't go any further than this point. We agreed to it in the field. That was Sean Ice years ago when he worked here with the DNR, and also,
Is there a reason
Kyle
you didn't
Seibel?
have it staked and flagged for us?
yeah, the mistake was the dates on the form that I got for the hearing. On the paperwork, it said Monday, July 18th. So I was planning to have it marked on Tuesday night to be ready for Wednesday, the 18th. I didn't look at the Monday part. And when you look on the forms, it shows when the planning and zoning are going to be out and when the Board of Adjustments are going to be out. So I'm like, well, it's the zoning, not Board of Adjustments. So it showed both. It showed Monday and the 18th, and we were going to mark it Tuesday night. So I apologize. We would have had it marked. I should have just done it. I was down there that weekend, and I was going to do it and forgot. I'm like, I'm going to have to go back down and do it. Or my brother was going to be there. He could have done it. So I apologize for not having it marked. But it wasn't completely my fault because it was wrong on the paperwork.
If you, do you know what the distance would be if you could move it more to the west and move your driveway? Do you know how close you'd be to the wetlands on the west side? On the
Well,
west side?
every foot I go, I would already be probably within a couple feet of that wetland. So as I go more than 35 feet away from one, I get less and less and less away from the other one. And it's so wet over on that side, just because it is lower,
Sure.
and I can't argue that it would be wetland over there, that trying to move the driveway to that side, it's a slop hole over there. So it would really be a problem, and it's just you don't really gain much.
Sure, okay.
How close to the road will the building be, or the driveway?
Oh, I didn't measure it out completely. Looking at GIS, it'd be about 20 feet. not really worried about that. I can go closer to the driveway if we want to try to center it between the two wetlands a little bit better. But to me, it's just nicer to get it up there. It's a really nice, high, dry spot on the property right there. It's probably one of the driest spots we have on the whole piece of property.
Well, with this new information, are you gonna build this in part of the wetland now that it's farther up, farther?
No, I won't have any
thought?
wetland fill.
According to the diagrams and pictures I have, aerial photos, it looks like it's in the wetland.
It is not in wetland. It will not be having any wetland fills associated with the construction. Just within the setback. And we had the 100-year floodplain surveyed while we were out there too. So most of that area where I'm proposing to build it is probably very close to floodplain elevation. So we'd be adding about 6 inches of fill there to make sure we're up with our floor elevation. I believe is what Rick had said, is you want to be 6 inches with your floor above. And the application said concrete, but I'm just proposing gravel. We're not proposing to put a concrete floor in there.
Could
That'd
you
just crack up.
get more precise about the kind of toys you're going to put in there? Are you going to have any motorized toys?
Motorized toys? No, well,
Like a tractor or truck, trailer, not a trailer, a motor home or something like that?
not a motor home. We probably will park our camper in there for the winter. It's a fifth wheel. Pontoon boat, my fishing boat, couple of extra odds and ends trailers that are there. There's a couple of older boats that are there in that other shed. that we put the
You're
trailers.
requesting, it looks like it's one variance, but you have a variance in both the width of the building and the length of the building. For the width of the building, it winds up to be a 30% reduction in the wetland variance. For the length of the building, it's 16%. If you look at the footprint of the building, 40% of the building, as you propose it, is in the wetland setback. And you're going to have a gravel floor, and if you store anything in there with petroleum products, you know, it could be a problem.
Finished height of the building, roughly,
Haven't had a lot of drawings done on it, but I did talk to Rick about that. Since it's zoned ag, we weren't limited, but I can't believe it's going to be more than 20, 22 feet.
okay.
Looking to make a mansion. We're not making any living space or extra storage up in the rafters or anything. It's just a means to get some stuff in out of the weather.
Okay. All other setbacks will be met then?
Yep.
Okay. You're kind of between a wetland and a hard place, right?
Yeah, you know, we talked for years about building a shed like that up on the back side of the house over there someplace, but that whole that area there by the woods, that's all wetlands. I'd be right up tight against it.
Mhm.
If not, some of what we're mowing there is probably wetland.
If an approval were granted, construction sometime this summer?
Yeah, late fall, maybe. If not, depending on how quick I could get things going, it'd be early next year.
Okay. Any other committee questions?
Does your driveway ever flood in the spring?
No,
So that's high ground.
yeah, right.
You understand that you can put your driveway on the wetland setback. You can't put the building or a structure on the wetland setback.
Yeah, the driveway's already on wetland setback. Probably almost 100% of it to get way to the other end. The little ditch that runs along that driveway and then everything to the west from there would pretty much all map as wetland.
Any other questions?
I wish it wouldn't. I'd fill it in a heartbeat, but fortunately, said I met with the DNR and the Corps of Engineers, and that's what they told me. So.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Just one quick question.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a commercial building for rental storage?
No.
Okay.
Nope, just our stuff. And like Dad always said, when you build something, you got to build it big enough the first time. Otherwise, you can always wish it was bigger. So
Never build them big enough.
yeah, so that I know it's looks a little bit big by design, but I literally took a piece of graph paper and I laid out the dimension of the camper and the pontoon trailer and my boat trailer. And by the time you jock him, it's got to be about this big to have room in there. So otherwise, I'll be stacking a trailer on top of something else or something.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Any correspondence?
Yep. Oh, in terms of correspondence, yes. Did receive a letter from the town of Poisippi on July 12th. It states, "Dear Mr. Todd Waller, on July 9th, 2018, the Poisippi Town Board met for their regular monthly meeting. The board voted to approve Mike Helmrich's application for a variance to construct a 32 by 60 storage shed on a concrete slab. This is located in Section 2, W695 Badger Drive. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact us. Signed, Larry Albright, Chairman."
Okay, we have registered in favor but not speak Robert and Margaret Rogo. Any questions or wish to speak yet or anything? Okay. You would be a joining landowner? No, we're not a joining one, within walking distance. Okay. Okay, thank you. No one else registered. Staff comments?
Okay. As stated in the report, the applicant is requesting a variance to construct a 32 by 60 storage shed on a concrete slab to come within 35 feet of a mapped wetland when a minimum of 50 feet is required in an AG general agricultural zone. The entire parcel is approximately 17 acres inside, but is rather unique in that nearly 90% of the lot maintains documented wetlands. Only a very small portion of the lot, that lying immediately adjacent to the entry drive north of the residence, basically are buildable. The board visited the site at the recent on-site on Monday, July 16th, 2018, and felt that a 30% reduction in setback was too much. They saw no reason why either the structure couldn't be redesigned, reduced in size, or why the existing drive, which consists of 2 vehicle-worn paths with road base inlay, couldn't be relocated around the building so that a code-compliant structure could be built. They also recommended looking behind or south of the existing residence to see if adequate area exists. Staff's reviewed this request and believes the applicant does have a unique piece of land and is very limited in terms of buildable area. However, we also believe there are other alternatives available that could alleviate the need for a variance. Some of these alternatives are as simple as relocating the existing driveway, building multiple smaller pole barns in other locations on the property, or merely reducing the size of what structure is being proposed. The property is situated in and immediately adjacent to some of the most sensitive lands in the county. A structure this size within such close proximity to the wetlands could have a detrimental impact upon the vegetation. We are therefore recommending denial of the variance to construct a 32 by 60 storage shed on a concrete slab to come within 35 feet of a mapped wetland.
Applicant have anything in rebuttal?
Well, I guess just to clarify some of the things that were said in there about building to the south of the existing residence, there really wouldn't be anything over there that would be an improvement, especially since you're going to be closer to the water features. You'd be closer to the pond and closer to the channel. And there's the wetlands that are present there. I don't believe you could be further away than where I'm proposing it right now, in all honesty. To relocate the driveway, I can't relocate the driveway into wetland, or I'd have wetland fill. So you'd have to make a very sharp skew on the driveway at the end and make a left out there and then come back out to the road. And by that time, you're having the same effect on the shed location. It doesn't really improve that much because you're really wedged in then with the road setback DNR property currently. But you only gain, but if I do get this land swap through, I only gain a couple feet on that. So I could look at going a little bit smaller with the shed, but again, it isn't really going to fit the needs of what we have. You know, try to declutter that property and make it look a little bit better. The concerns with the spills or the hazmat part of it, we can certainly do things to mitigate those concerns. We can put in some different things, whether it be different pads you can put down in case there ever were an oil leak like anything you'd use for a cleanup you could use, where we can design some drip pans and things like that to make sure that we don't ever have a issue where we're going to contaminate anything. So I don't know, did I hit all of them that were kind of the concerns from the,
I think so.
you know, we would definitely do what we can to take care of the place we always have. That's why it's not all built up huge and developed and messed up already.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Next variance to be considered, Joseph and Melinda Stevens, Belvedere, Illinois, made an application for a variance in accordance with section 58-542, paragraph C, paragraph 2, and 58-826, paragraph B of the Washare County zoning code to construct a 30 by 50 one-story single-family dwelling with a basement and a 24 by 30 attached garage, 14 by 28 sunroom, and a 12 by 14 patio, coming to within 9.73 feet of both easterly and westerly side lot line, 15 foot required, and coming to within 34 feet of the center line of Bluegill Lane, 58.5 average setback required, RS 20 residential single-family zone within the shoreland area. Location Lot 8 of F.W. Plots plat of Pleasant Lake Summer Resort and part of Government Lot 5, Section 33, Town of Coloma, Pleasant Lake W 13431 Bluegill Lane. The applicant present?
Gus Johnson, presenting for Joe and Mindy. I'm building.
You're the builder?
Contractor, yep.
Basically, you want to give us some short version of what you want to do out there?
Well, they would like to have a house built, and being that the lots are only 49.44 wide, normal setbacks 15 feet. Can't build a house at 20 foot wide. That wouldn't make much sense. So, you know, that variance is going to have to be, if they're going to be able to build a house, it's going to have to be within the 15 feet on each side. As far as the setback from the road, we took in consideration. I just built Pete and Carol's house right next door 3 years ago. They did a great job not wanting to impede the view of the lake for neighbors. I think Joe and Mindy have done a great job with not wanting to get the view of the neighbors of the lake, which is what everybody lives on a lake for. We figured that it would be better, even though there's room to probably go towards the lake, to have that setback to the road be a little bit closer than what we possibly could. On these particular lots, you can go a long ways to the lake if you really wanted to, but I mean, every neighbor in the block would probably be jumping up and down screaming because your house would block everybody. So they've taken it into consideration, just as we did 3 years ago, and they wanted to have a house built there, and that's the size that they were thinking of doing, and that's why we had it staked where we did. So,
Okay, has there been a recent survey out there?
yes,
You know where the lot lines are and all the stakes?
yes, those were marked.
Talk to the neighbors in the town about this?
They talked to the neighbors, but I haven't personally talked to the neighbors. Pete and Carol are very much in
Do we have
favor of
anything
it.
from the neighbors?
We do.
Correspondence? Okay.
We heard from them out there,
Right?
Yep. And I have some
not,
correspondence.
not just the ones next door, there were other ones that came over.
Okay, nothing from the Pleasant Lake Association, no, or,
We
Yes,
do.
we did.
okay.
Yep. Do you like?
Finish, no.
Okay.
How far above existing grade is the first floor going to be?
Well, we will actually probably match the house, Pete and Carol's house next door. Same size depth of basement. That worked out really well as far as the depth of the basement without impeding on two different neighbors. So we will not be any higher than that house over there. In fact, we could actually go a couple inches lower if we needed to.
Okay. On a full basement then?
Yeah, 8-foot basement. They wanted 9, but it's just not going to work there.
No walkout basement or anything?
There will be an egress window, but that's it.
You're asking for a pretty good-sized house there, too.
No. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than Pete and Carol's, yes.
What about the septic system? Is that fairly new?
That I couldn't answer exactly. I do know Vern handled that, Vern Wagner handled that, and as far as the drain field, one drain field would have to be flip-flop from where it is to the other side just to make room. And they didn't think they wanted to go too much further because of the way the land hollows down in there, and it's a real low area out in as far as you get closer to the lake. So to keep that up there would probably be important.
Okay. You considered any other options out there?
As far as size, well, I guess that's up to you guys. So
No, it's up to you because you made the request. We're either going to approve it or deny it.
well, we've thought about it, but you know, I mean, we went off of what we had 3 years ago. It's 2 feet wider, and I believe it is 8 feet longer, the main house. And the garage would be about 3 feet closer to the center line on the roadside, and the house would be about 8 feet further forward. And then, of course, the screen porch is on one side, which I don't know if you just, but it's 18 by 14, not 20 porch, just so you know.
Talking to the neighbor, the house you built a couple of years ago, they said they had the bigger lot. They had a wider lot.
That might be 50.
Yeah.
So it's 49.44, so you're
But it
talking about
is-
6 inches.
But it wasn't smaller.
What kind of rooms are in the present building there? Do you have 2 bedrooms?
Yeah, there's 2 really small bedrooms in there.
2 bedrooms. Is there 1 bath,
1 bath,
1 kitchen,
yes.
and what else?
Just a little area for like a living room.
And no
slash den.
garage?
No, there's a shed there that's right next
No
to the road.
garage. He's asking now for 3 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, a dining room, a living room, a sunroom, a mud room, a rec room, and an oversized 2-car garage.
Well,
Did I get them all?
yeah, because there's a basement. So there's obviously 2 stories versus 1 story. So it's going to be about double without having to, yeah.
Okay. The 2 side lot variances are 35% reduction. The setback variance is almost 50% reduction. And I didn't see any comment regarding the impervious area for drainage because it's at 27%, which is high,
But it had to be under 30, I believe, correct?
okay? And you're going from 2 bedrooms to 3, so you're going to have to do something with the septic, right?
It will still, I think they can either sign a undersized affidavit or when they include that other baffle, it would work out. I talked to Vern about it, and we had it all designed and should have been submitted.
Okay. Do you know when they acquired the property, approximately?
They acquired the property probably, I'm going to say 6, 7 years ago.
And they've been using it ever since?
Yes.
Do they use it in the winter?
No. And they would like to.
They would like to use it in the winter?
Yeah, they would like to go snowmobiling or spend time up here in the winter.
You think with the house being back and the garage being back closer to the center line, you think there'd be a problem with snow removal back there? If they want to come up in the winter where, you know, it looks to me like if you're going to reduce the size of where you can plow snow, you're going to have a problem.
I guess I haven't thought of that. I guess you'd have to talk to Pete and Carol. They're right at the same spot, and I've been in touch with them. They haven't said anything about, oh, this is a terrible thing to try to remove snow. So, I mean, I guess that's the only answer I can give you.
Any other committee questions? You can have a chair. Thank you. Correspondence?
No correspondence. Oh, I'm sorry. I do have correspondence. I was thinking. So, yes, we do. We received a letter from the Pleasant Lake Management District, and this letter is dated 7/12/2018. The general concerns are that the PLMD board meeting at 7/10/18, the commissioners voiced their concerns surrounding these types of variances relating to tear-downs and rebuilds. Specifically, the reduction of setbacks to the center line of public right-of-way where with time the average becomes diminished and so snow storage and parking of additional cars, trucks continue to encroach into the public right-of-way. The increased amount of impervious surface and reduction of surface water infiltration and the impact on lake views when side yard setbacks are reduced. We also received an email dated July 17, 2018 from Sean Crowley. It says, "Hi, I live on N270 Check Drive, directly behind the property in question. First off, I'd like to start by saying I did not get a letter for what is happening at this property. A neighbor had to give me a copy. Secondly, I will not be able to make it to the meeting on the 19th as I am traveling for work. I would like to voice some concerns. Mainly concerned, and in parentheses, of what little view I have of the lake, end of parentheses, will be greatly diminished by what is happening to the size of the structure being built, and the lack of time the family will be staying there. I'm sure it will also affect the tax base, and in parentheses, bad thing, but on the flip side, affect property values, in parentheses, good thing. I just see more bad than good with the structure being built. Thank you, Sean Crowley." Another email received on July 18th from Jackie Jacoby. It states, "To whom it may concern, we are writing to express concerns regarding the variance application of Joseph and Melinda Stevens on their lot at Pleasant Lake. We hope the length of their proposed building does not impede the view of the lake by neighbors to the right, left, and behind. We hope, too, the design blends well with the current properties. Discussion regarding the water runoff from the hill or road behind the property and placement of the electrical power box would be appreciated as well. We are happy to see that people are making improvements to their properties. Everyone should continue to enjoy life on the lake for many years to come. Others in the past have made concessions to maintain aesthetics and views. We simply wish the same in this instance and any in the future. Thank you, Jackie Jacoby and Mary Nyman." That's it.
Okay, no one registered?
Nope.
Staff comments?
Chairman, you didn't read the one from the town, did you?
The only thing we've received and I apologize. On Tuesday, July 10th, the county did receive a call from Mark Kirschner. Thank you. Sorry about that, Larry. Chairman for the town of Coloma, that stated the town had recently reviewed the applicant's variance request but had no concerns or objections to what the applicants are proposing. Thank you. Sorry about that, Larry.
Staff comments?
Okay. As stated, the applicants are seeking to construct a 30 by 50 one-story single-family dwelling on a 9-foot full basement with a 24 by 30 attached garage to come within 9.73 feet of both the easterly and westerly side lot lines when a minimum of 15 feet is required, and to come within 34 feet from the center line of Bluegill Road when a minimum of 63 feet, and that for a town road is required. If you were to do averaging, it would be 51.5 feet back in terms of the average when you're averaging like structures. The subject property is part of the original Pleasant Lake Summer Resort subdivision, which was platted back in 1950. At that time, the lots were platted to widths of 3 rods each, or 49.5 feet. The original home predates any of our land use permits and our codes, but it should be noted the existing residence, which is designated for removal, maintains side yard setbacks of anywhere from 7 to 9 feet on the north and 3 feet on the south. The board visited the site at the recent on-site on Monday, July 16th, and shared similar concerns to those raised by the Lake District. They felt that the applicants were not designing a building that fit the limitations of the lot, and that the variance requests were too excessive and could set a dangerous precedent. They also cited concerns over snow removal and winter maintenance and parking with the house so close to the road. Based upon present requests, they believe the codes could be undermined. While they looked at varying alternatives, they felt that the well would need to be re-drilled and that the existing septic system would need to be relocated, or excuse me, that the existing septic system could not be relocated to the north and have to be modified further to the south. The applicant does provide justification and that to support their hardship. They state that the applicant, or the site, the property is narrow in nature and does lend itself to a hardship, that the fact that the existing home is set back only 3 feet from the west side lot line and 7 feet from the east side lot line. The applicant also cites that the existing drain field located to the south of the home as a limiter from pushing the home further south to the lot. It should be pointed out, however, that the applicants were planning on relocating a portion of the drain field, and that the existing drain field is right now designed for only a two-bedroom home. The applicants are now proposing a 3-bedroom home. With regard to the comments made by the builder, we would normally allow an affidavit, undersized affidavit, in the event of a remodel. This is a complete tear down and rebuild, which would necessitate a complete upgrade to the existing system. Staff has reviewed this request and understands the desire to rebuild and or renovate old cottage lots. We believe the proposal will not improve a bad situation with regard to the existing side yard variance request previously granted in and around the area. We believe there's ample room on the property in which to design a home more compatible to surrounding land uses and structures and more sensitive to existing code requirements. We therefore recommend tabling this variance request to the September 20th, 2018 Board of Adjustments public hearing so as to allow the applicant an opportunity to meet with their builder and come up with a design that's more compatible to neighboring land uses and structures and more closely reflects and adheres to current county codes. The revised plans, we'd ask that they be resubmitted to the county zoning office no later than August 22nd, and that we, due to the potential sensitivity of the request, the county would republish in the paper and re-notify all adjoining landowners so as to give everyone an opportunity to review and comment. And that's it.
Applicant have anything in rebuttal? Okay. Final variance tonight, Dollar General Incorporated, Appleton, Wisconsin. James Sattler, landowner, has made an application for a variance in accordance with section 58-830 and 58-828 the Washera County Zoning Code to install 30 parking stalls for a proposed retail store, 60 stalls required, and construct a future driveway 288 feet, .5 from an existing driveway to the north. 500 foot required in the AG General Agricultural Zone. Proposed zone change to CG, General Commercial pending. Location, approximate 1.296 acre parcel to be created from 2 existing parcels that are 35.44 acres, being part of the northwest 1/4, the southeast 1/4, part of the northeast 1/4, the southwest 1/4, section 7, town of Poisippi, State Road 49. The applicant present.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jim Lundberg. I'm with Point of Beginning. We're the civil engineers, surveyors, and site planners for the proposed commercial project.
My name is Todd Platt. I'm the developer. I'm from Appleton.
Okay. Basically, want to tell us a short version of what you want to do out there?
Sure. The proposed project is a 9,100 square foot retail store, a Dollar General. We are proposing a parking lot in front of the store, 30 stalls as stated. And we are going to be, would like to construct a driveway, which in the future we would like to have dedicated as a public road as the remainder of the parcel develops along the south side of the proposed development. But at this point, it would be a private driveway located south of the facility.
You have anything else to add now, or you ready for some?
We'll answer your questions.
Okay, sounds good. You will be surveying the property when you buy it, correct?
Yeah, correct. We have a proposed certified survey map already generated to have the land split.
Okay. And basically, you're gonna make 288 feet, was it, from the other driveway?
Correct.
You've talked to the town, I take it? I think we have correspondence from them.
We have, yes.
Have you talked to the state about the state highway?
Yeah, we have made requests for the connection with the state. I think they're waiting until the results of tonight's meeting.
Okay. They haven't indicated then if a culvert will be necessary?
They have not at this point, no.
Okay. 30 stalls will be sufficient for your store?
Correct. Dollar General, that's their minimum stall count that they require us to provide them.
Okay. And plenty of room for turnaround and to come in with trucks and that thing too
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, correct. That's one of the items that we need to prove to Dollar General when we propose a project, is that the delivery truck can pull in. You'll see a wider drive lane in front of the store. That's where the truck will pull in and then back into the delivery area, which would be located on the southeast side of the building.
Okay. Your store is gonna face the highway though, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
May I interject?
Sure.
Good. Before we get to this point in our planning process, we need to submit a site plan to Dollar General for their corporate review and approval. We've already done that. So they've reviewed the site plan, they've looked at the parking lot layout, they've looked at the semi-truck delivery access and all of those issues. Everything has been approved by corporate up to this point, or at this point.
Okay. Any other committee questions?
By dedicating your driveway to the public after a certain amount of time, that would eliminate the need for another driveway between your store and the existing driveway to the south. You wouldn't have any more driveways between where you are now, no.
There's a driveway that goes into the field there now, that's down the road a little bit.
Oh, like a egg field.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you asking if that would remain, or if?
No, not about that, but by dedicating your driveway to the public, that would eliminate the need for any other driveways to get back into that property if it's developed.
Yeah, correct. Yep, that would be the intention, is
Good.
that would,
Good.
it would branch off of that roadway.
We're trying to anticipate what future development may occur there and provide not only public access for the Dollar General project, but as additional land might be sold by the seller, that there would be access off of that public road as well for future development.
Good.
Runoff from the driveway? Water runoff from the parking lot? Where's that going?
Yeah, so the site naturally slopes to the north, so we will be proposing a stormwater basin north of the parking lot to treat and detain the stormwater.
Will that affect that house?
It won't negatively impact it based on comparisons to what the current conditions are to post-development. So we would be reducing rates, and actually we've oversized the basin for the sensitivity of the resident to the north. Any overflow would go off to the east, northeast of our site in a larger rainfall event. We've designed a basin where we've done soil borings and we encountered sand roughly 4 feet down below the surface silt clay material. So we're going to dig down to that and make sure that the stormwater basin gets into the sand and allows some infiltration as well.
Thank you.
Any other committee questions? Okay, thank you. Correspondence?
Yes. Staff's been in contact with Kelly Nicholas from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation regarding proposed access drive. At this present time, the plans are under review. However, they've indicated to me that they do not see anything that would preclude them from permitting the new access drive. They cite the reduced speed along the portion of the roadway, as well as the fact that these types of retailers are generally low traffic volume generators. Kelly also further stated that if the county approves this variance request, they'll most likely go forward or move forward with approving the application for access. It's a very good possibility that during the review of the driveway permit, that access permit, she may ask for that farm, that access drive, the existing drive, the agricultural drive. She may very well ask that that be removed and that access be taken off of a potential driveway. I don't know, but I'm just saying that when it's under review, the state, it's basically they have jurisdiction, so.
I think I asked this question on Monday. Is that a private, separate piece of property? Or does the developer own that whole parcel now?
Well, they're purchasing property or carving out a piece of land from that owner, so that landowner basically has a vested interest in this as well.
So he may need that access to harvest that hayfield, that other driveway. And they may not want the farm equipment coming in on their road.
And once again, I think when the permit comes under review, Kelly may very well say that access is gonna have to be taken off of that roadway, that the driveway access, the shared drive, so to speak. I can't speak on behalf of Kelly, but.
Yeah, I know.
We also received on July 12th a letter from the town of Poisippi. It states, "Dear Todd Waller, on July 9th, 2018, the Poisippi Town Board met at the regularly monthly meeting. Dollar General has applied for a variance to install 30 parking stalls for a proposed retail store and to construct a future driveway 288.5 feet from an existing driveway to the north in the AG zone. The board voted to approve this variance located in Section 7. Also, Dollar General applied for a zone change, that's later on tonight, from AG to CG to construct a 130-foot by 70-foot retail store. The board voted to approve this zone change. Sincerely, Larry Albright, Chairman."
Okay, we have registered to speak in favor, Patrick Neary.
So Patrick Nearing, I live 3 blocks from the Dollar General location. And the commercial development in that area was planned with the Town of Poisippi comprehensive plan, and it's consistent with that from what was decided back in 10 years ago, and the town has reviewed the plan this previous fall and approved it this winter, and that area was also designated for commercial development. And the Dollar General and other business development in that area would bring needed retail traffic and commercial traffic to the village of Poisippi, and would benefit the community in having more commercial and retail activity taking place in the community.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
We have registered in opposition, Doug Redensel.
Doug Redensel, we got the property right north of where the Dollar General's supposedly going to get put. They're talking about the water. The runoff to the east would be bad because the basement there already gets flooded. We had SureDry come in and seal it, but this past spring we still had water. We just bought that property last September. It's supposed to be in the plans for a fence going up, a security fence. Being up that high, the lights are going to shine right in the house every time somebody turns if they don't put that fence up. I believe, according to Jim, and I don't know how true it is, the fence is supposed to go 10 feet off the property line. I don't know if that's right or not. I haven't seen the plans. We'd like to see that pushed back at least 20 feet. I think we got like a 3 to 5 foot lot line. I don't know where the survey sticks or where it got surveyed. Maybe you guys got that, but the garage is just pretty close to the lot line. The garage is going to need a new floor, and there's no way that we're going to be able to do anything with it because either the fence or the property line is going to be too close. We tried to buy 40 to 50 feet from the owner there, and it was all unplanned. And what I got back, and you guys tell me if this is right or wrong, but supposedly zoning said that they would not change it from agriculture to residential. So I don't know how true that is, but that's, I guess we ask you guys that. But the plan was we were going to try to buy 40 to 50 feet to give us some room there, so we would never have a problem. And I don't know where it's at now. Supposedly Jimmy signed some papers, so I don't know what because his hands were tied from what you guys said, so I don't know how true that is.
Your whole property in wetland?
No, it ain't wetland, but it's, there's water in the basement and when that water comes, they're talking about going to the east. There ain't no other place. It's gonna come right back around to the house.
You don't think a settling pond would eliminate some of your flooding?
I don't know. All three houses in that row right now, they come across from Coney H. They all got problems in the basement. In fact, all the way down Lenny Lincoln's. So I don't know what this new water problem is gonna be, the runoff, but they might have to come up.
Question about the zoning? What was your question about the ag zoning and the residential zoning?
Supposedly, what Jimmy told me is that the zoning committee would not change it from agricultural to residential and I don't see where that was a possibility, why they wouldn't do that, but
You could buy a little piece of property.
we were gonna buy 40 to 50 feet along the whole south side of our property.
You could buy a strip of land as an adjoining landowner and just add it on to your property.
That's what I thought.
Of your zoning.
So somebody was pushing somebody, so I don't know where all that all came. But they blamed it on the zoning committee, so. Of course, somebody's gonna get blamed, but I don't know if all these options are gonna be going in, with a security fence, and it was all talk, so I don't know if that's all. I mean, our property is probably gonna lose value because it's there. I mean, I am not against the town, I'm on the fire department, I know how it all works. But it's good for the town, but it ain't good for somebody that lives next to it.
Look at this, so you're walking distance.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Doug.
I have a question.
But-
It says he owns the property, but it's not listed in his name.
My name is on the property, it's in the deeds. Should be.
It might not have.
It doesn't show up on
If he
our
bought it
records.
after the first.
No,
year,
but it's my daughter's house, but I'm part owner of it.
Okay.
So he might be the co-owner. I don't know.
Yeah, so,
Possible, but I'm saying that's,
I understand that, yeah.
Anything
And
else?
the letter came in both of our names, so I don't know.
Okay, anything else?
No, I didn't know if I should talk at this one or talk at the zoning committee one.
Both of them.
Talk at both.
I hear they're hard of hearing, so you might have to talk up. Staff comments?
Okay. As stated in staff reports, the applicants, Dollar General, are seeking two variances tonight. They're seeking to reduce the number of required parking stalls from 60 down to 30. They're also seeking a reduction in the minimum distance required between two driveways. And I have to apologize, there was an error in the report and an error also in our publication. We had stated that it was 1,000 feet. The actual state highway requirements and county requirements is 500 feet. So they're seeking a variance to reduce that down from 500 to 288.5 feet, as that's classified as a rural minor arterial. The applicants are basically carving out an approximate 1.3 acre parcel out of a larger 35.5 acre parcel of land located on the east side of State Highway 49, just south of the intersection of County Highway H. Staff has worked very closely with Point of Beginning and Jim Lundberg in that we designed the building and we looked at it so that it would be sensitive to the land uses immediately adjacent. The building was purposely pushed off as far away from the residents as possible. The parking lot, we did the same on that, and then also that allowed for an area right now that can be used for stormwater detention. With regard to the overall design too, and one of the requests is by going down to 30 parking stalls, they can bank that area so that in the event that they do need additional parking, they can easily expand into that area. The petitioner cites a number of things in terms of its justification and hardship. The first variance to reduce the number of required parking stalls. The applicant cites the fact that these stores are generally accommodate low traffic volumes. Typically anywhere from 10 to 12 vehicles per hour are typically seen. They have also provided information showing where typical or similar variances have been granted in other communities, allowing between 30 and 31 parking stalls. Second request is the variance to allow the construction of a future driveway closer to the existing driveway, which is normally required. The applicants have taken great strides to plan the location of the drive and its future usage. Right now, it is designed to minimize traffic conflicts by aligning it with the bank, the former bank directly across the street. They've also designed it to act as a shared access drive to provide access to a development to the south and/or a larger vacant land immediately to the east. Staff has reviewed this request and believes that a small commercial retailer at this location will provide a small economic boost to the town. Development of the site for a commercial retailer is also in keeping with the wants and desires of the community per the comprehensive plan. We also view the request should not negatively impact the area nor the surrounding land uses, and we're recommending approval of the variance to reduce the required number of parking stalls and also the variance to reduce down the required minimum driveway spacing standards for the property located on 49 in an existing AG General Agricultural Zone.
Okay, the applicant have anything rebuttal to adjoining property owners' statements and whatnot?
I did just want to clarify the statement about the 50 feet of additional feet on the north side of the parcel. There was discussion of the leaving a 50-foot strip there. Todd and I discussed, we had an original concept plan that showed that 50-foot strip being left. The concern at the time was having a 50-foot strip of land as an outlot, because as we were proposing it, it would create the Dollar General lot, and then that 50-foot gap in between would be an outlot. So in the discussions with the county and following the survey, where the lot line was actually a little further south than we had anticipated based on the GIS, that's where the resultant of we needed the extra land out to the property line, current property line. So,
and since I was part of that conversation, I'd like to just rebut by stating that never once, though, was it ever discussed that the adjoining land, that land was going to go to the adjoining landowner. It was kind of at the point in time going to be left as kind of no man's land.
Yeah,
and that was our concern.
And at the time we were discussing it, I was not aware of that. It was only after we discussed it that I found that out. It was my understanding that they just wanted to create a buffer between the store and the adjacent property. So that was where it was going to be left as a empty 50-foot lot. That was my understanding at the time of the conversation. So yes, I agree with Todd.
Can I just add another comment? I do want to make the statement that we do want to be a good neighbor, and we are sensitive to the comments. This is not the first situation where we have developed a Dollar General store adjacent to a residential home, and we are proposing a cedar fence as a privacy fence. And there are things that we can do also in terms of putting cutoff shields on the lighting to help minimize any light pollution onto your house. So we'll do everything we can to work with you. We want to be good neighbors. We've demonstrated that we've been able to do that in other communities that we've developed in, and we'll do everything we can to help.
I have a question on the retention pond. How far will that be from the lot line?
The pond is roughly 15 feet wide, and it'll be, I don't have a dimension here, but about 10 feet from the property line would be the north edge of it.
Will this pond hold water at all times?
The proposed basin is what's referred to as a bioretention, so it is designed to drain dry over a 24 to 48-hour period of time. And it would only stand a maximum of a foot of water at any given time.
Would the pond be dangerous to children in the area when it has the water in it after a storm?
No, that's the benefit of one of these basins, is it is a shallow basin, so it would only have a maximum of a foot of water at any given time.
Thank you.
The other follow-up comment is that Jim's role as a civil engineer is to design the detention pond and fully engineer it, and then ultimately it is submitted to the state for their complete review and approval as well.
Thank you.
Okay, that closes the,
I need to, oh, I want to write it in here. Jim?
It's Jim Lundberg, Lundberg.
that closes the public hearing for the Board of Adjustments. We'll adjourn to the first room outside the door. Everyone that had a variance is welcome to come in there for decisions, and we'll probably take Dollar General first. And Doug, if you want to come with us in there, and then you can come back in here.
Right out here, the other way, that room over there.
Cindy, do you need the book at all or no? Oops, sorry, sir.
No, that's all right.
We'll call this meeting of the Waushara County Planning and Zoning Committee to order. This meeting will be conducted in the same manner as the applications heard by the Board of Adjustment. Please remember to keep your comments brief, no more than 5 minutes, and relative to the matter at hand. Anyone other than the applicant or their representative wishing to speak at the hearing must have registered. Anyone who has not should do so immediately and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator. The committee has looked at all of the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Following the public hearing, the committee will conduct their monthly business meeting, at which time they will vote on the application. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the public hearing. Any person affected by the administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Waushara County Board of Adjustment. Information and applications are available from the county zoning office.
The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 10-day period. I'll now introduce the committee. Todd Waller, Cindy Rettler, and Carl Gruzer, and Jerry Lauer, George Peterman, Pat King, and I think that probably gets it. I'm Mike Kapp. Meeting's been called to order. Public hearing on applications of Kramer and the Dollar General.
Here, I'll take it.
Okay, the first application is a zone change, and James Kramer, Hawkins, Wisconsin, has made an application for zoning change in accordance with sections 58, 131 through 138, 58-541 through 543, and 58-661 of the Waushara County Zoning Code, from CG, General Commercial, to RS, Residential Single Family, to utilize an existing approximate 40-foot by 18-foot, 1.5-story structure of a single-family dwelling previously used as a commercial business with living quarters within the shoreland area. The location of the parcel of the land is being part of the northeast quarter, lot 110 of Aurora Plat, excluding CSM 116, section 7, town 18 north, RE R13E, Town of Aurora, Mill Pond, N2035, State Road 49. We have two changes today. The first one will be the zone change for James Kramer. Will the applicant please come up to the podium and then state what they'd like to do? We would also ask that you please speak into the microphone the best you can, because we are recording this, and also for the benefit of the public attendants that are behind you. Come on. Mr. Kramer?
Do we have an applicant?
In that case, I suggest that we postpone this until the next meeting.
All right. Check, I don't know what that is. If they looked up here for their own case, doesn't that automatically? Oh, we'll check on that. Okay, yep, okay. So we're going to end up having to continue this because there's no applicant here to speak on their behalf and even put forth their recommendation. So I apologize. What we can do is I can re-notify you. If you'd like to give me some information before you leave.
Can I just talk here, or do you want me to walk up there?
Sure. Sure, come on up.
Because it's not that we disagree with what he's looking for. So what I marked on there,
I see
what
Excuse me, who are you?
my name is Mike Pernasky. So I own property. We have a right of way to get down to a chunk of property on Auroraville Mill Pond. And the property that he purchased through what he did was an auction auction. Right now, the building is on our property line, so it encroaches our easement to get down there. Our paperwork shows that we have 16 and a half foot to get through there. The guy that had it before there, it was always a handshake, yeah, you guys can get through there, no problem. Well, now there's a new guy this James purchased this property through an online auction, and I don't even know if he's aware. I'm assuming that he had to see it. It had to have been surveyed, or I'm not sure how that works. But I would certainly think that he has to know that his building right now is on our property line. And I don't know how to go about, we just don't want to make sure, we want to make sure we always have a way to get down to that property. If that's, that's taken away from us, how do we get there? So that's the only thing I have. Him going from commercial to residential or however it was, I have no issue with that. I just have an issue that how his property is on our property line, or on his garage is on our property line.
Yeah, and we don't have, we do not have a current survey of the property, so I couldn't tell you if what you're stating is correct or not. I mean, literally, there would have to be a new survey prepared that would identify.
How do we go about doing that then? How can he purchase something? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know how it ever
I don't
got
know.
sold
I
without-
don't know how he received clear title without a
Exactly.
current. What we could do, I could check down with the recorder of deeds and see what we have on file for that. But we don't control that. That's the only problem. We can't control what's being sold and what's not. So the only thing I can do is I can do a little research and check into it. But there should have been, I would imagine there should have been some type of title search at the time of closing. But I can't verify what was done as part of an auction.
Okay. So can you give me direction on is there another place I should be going? Is there?
You could check right off the bat with downstairs recorder of deeds, which is Heather Schrozenska.
Okay. Could you spell that, please?
Your guess is as good as mine. Throw the alphabet out there. Yeah, it's
WERSENSKA.
Thank you.
If you would have said Heather S., they'll get you to her.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Dollar General and James Saller's landowner has made an application for zone change in accordance with sections 58-131 through 138, 58-541, and 58-543 of the Waushara County Zoning Code from AG, General Agriculture, to CG, General Commercial, to construct a 130 by 70 retail store. The location is an approximate 1.3 acre parcel to be created from two existing parcels that total 35.44 acres, being part of the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter and part of the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 7, Town of 19N, R13E, Town of Poisippi, State Road 49. Would the applicant please come forward to the podium and state your name for the record and explain what it is you would like to do?
Sure. My name is Todd Platt. I'm the developer. I'm from Appleton. And our group in Appleton is the exclusive developer for Dollar General throughout the state of Wisconsin as well as southeastern Minnesota. We've built over 100 stores throughout Wisconsin and Minnesota. The corporate office of Dollar General is located in Tennessee, and they have directed us to the community of Poisippi as a market that they feel there's an opportunity for a new store. So when I start a project and start doing site selection work, some communities are a little bit easier than others in terms of going in and finding a site that's obvious. I did not have that luxury or that opportunity when I first went to Poisippi. I contacted Larry Albright, had a nice conversation with him, and he suggested that I look at the piece of property that we ultimately were able to get under contract. We do have an executed lease with Dollar General. The town is very supportive, and of course what it means for a community like Poisippi is job creation. A store like this will employ 8 to 10 people. It adds tax base to the community, and quite frankly, it adds shopping conveniences for the local residents as well. And when Dollar General looks at a community the size of Poisippi, they're not relying on just the local rooftops to support the store. They would never make it in the situation of a community the size of Poisippi. They realize that by locating in a community such as Poisippi, they're going to draw shoppers and people into the community. And for retail and commercial and for the downtown businesses, that's a good thing. So we're here tonight to ask for a rezone of the property. We're excited about the opportunity. Patrick, is it Patrick? We haven't met before, but I appreciate the comments that he made in the prior meeting, being of support of the project. And other than that, Jim and I are here to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions? The committee does have no questions for the applicant. Thank you. All correspondence has zoning. Any correspondence regarding the request?
We have. Staff received a letter from the town of Poisippi. Town board reviewed this request at their July 9th, 2018 regular monthly meeting and voted to approve both the parking variance, and the driveway spacing variance requests. They've also indicated their support and approval for the rezoning request, which will be heard tonight. So that's all we have in terms of correspondence.
Anyone to speak objecting?
We do have a letter, or someone to speak. Doug, you want to come back up? How do you pronounce your last name? Rodensel, okay.
Well, after going to the last meeting, I guess I'm not going to object it. I'd rather try to work with him now. If he's given us I don't know where the fence is going to be from the property line, but if I can work out some kind of easement with him or drive on easement so that we can, I'm just worried about the garage there as being so close. I mean, you do any work on the garage, it's going to be a bear. And the only way you can do it, through the years, they worked with Jimmy Sattler and drove on his land, and that's how it all got done. Now you wouldn't be able to put a building that close anyways, but it's there, so we can't do nothing about it. And it's going to need a new floor in the future, and its garage is going to have to get picked up. Well, you're going to have to go all the way around the garage. So if we can work something out on some easement, drive easement, or if there's room there, I guess you can't really object it now. I mean, we're just looking out for ourselves. We just bought the property in last September, and my daughter moved in there, but it's just, it's a tough deal. I mean, if I could have got the 40 to 50 feet, I don't know where that all came about, but that was a deal that Jim and Lisa made with us before you guys even were in there, and how that got all goofed up, I don't have no idea. But I think the attorneys or somebody did. If the zoning committee didn't say that, it's got to be the two attorneys that were going back and forth. So I guess as far as it going there, it's going to support the town. I mean, I'm the president of our fire department, and somebody might move there that we can get a fireman out, but it's just rough for my daughter and her husband to live there, and 2 kids, and just want it to be safe, you know.
So Doug, and I just want to be certain though, you're not opposed to Dollar General coming into the community?
No, not at all. And I don't think you would want it next to your house. You know, nobody's going to want it right next to your house with the traffic and lights, and if they put up a decent fence. And I mean, don't want it that close, but what are you going to do?
There's one in the village that I live in, just general, and right across from Highway 73 is houses. And that was one of the biggest complaints is the lighting of there. But otherwise, otherwise for the water runoff. We had an issue with the water runoff like you're concerned of, and by them putting in that little ditch, actually improved in that section, so hopefully that will
I
help.
was just hoping that our basement don't get,
Right, hopefully it'll help improve your area
Well,
as well. so.
might help it, and it might be bad too, so if it helps it, it's a good thing, if it's bad, it's not, so. But, what are you gonna do? I'd rather try to wait for these guys and get something worked out, because when it comes to, like you said, to do that garage, you got 3-4 feet or whatever, it ain't gonna work, and you gotta jack the garage up, so.
Well, now you're in a position to talk to them. So
Right.
maybe there's going to
Maybe
be
we
some
work
give and
something
take. Thank you.
Thank you.
That would be a good opportunity.
Staff have anything to present?
Yep. As stated in the staff, excuse me, as stated in the staff report, Dollar General is requesting the zone change for an approximate 1.3 acre parcel from the AG General Agricultural District to the CG General Commercial District for that property located along the east side of State Route 49 in the town of Poisippi. As I've stated before, they're basically carving out a 1.3 acre parcel out of the larger 35.5 acre parcel located to the east side of this property. And you guys, I apologize. The committee did visit the property at their recent onsite on Wednesday, July 18th, and felt that this was an appropriate location for Dollar General since there weren't too many convenience stores in the area. Committee also felt that the commercial zoning at this location was adequate. For the record, the committee has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all other pertinent data for this request. Keep in mind that a zone change is a permanent change to the property, and that by changing the zone, you are likely changing not only the minimum lot size, but also what may be permitted on that property. Because of the permanent change, the review standards are quite high, and applications for zone changes are reviewed by 3 bodies. The first step is tonight, a public hearing before the Planning and Zoning Committee. They'll make their recommendation then to the County Board of Supervisors. After that, they'll then appear before the Town Board for final review and approval and/or denial. In order for this zone change to happen, it must be reviewed and approved at all 3 levels, from committee to county board to town board. Staff has reviewed this request and believes that a zone change for a small commercial retailer at this location would provide a small economic boost to the town. Development of the site plan of the site for a commercial retailer is also in keeping with the wants and desires of the community per the comprehensive plan. We are recommending approval of the zone change from AG to CG for the property located at State Route 49 in the town of Poisippi. That's all we've got.
Is there anything that the applicant would like to add, or? Okay. Thank you. Public hearing being complete, will you please take the roll call and record the same?
Mike,
Present.
Carl,
Aye.
George,
Here.
Pat,
Here.